Hi, welcome back to Learn to Unlearn. This is episode 8, and this is all about finding your strength. And I'm trying to get this right so that I can talk about everything and I can make sure that I write down all of my emotions and everything. It's pretty heavy darts. Um, this episode is called Finding Your Strength. So, what is finding your strength? Okay, well, I got to give you a little bit of history on women and my message to women and their powers. It's funny because this message is pointed right back at me because I always say when women find their true powers again, when women get in touch with their own powers and find out who they really are and find out what they're capable of, matriarchy wise. Um, and this is really important. So this is kind of, it's turned around and brought back right to me because it's one of my most important points. We are living in a patriarchal world. So it's time to get back to matriarchy. And this is also what this show is about because it's about healing. It's not about big pharma. It's not about getting sick. It's not about what it is about chemo and radiation and all that stuff. But it's how to stay away from everything man made because what I always say is everything man made is pretty well poison. Last time it was a doorbell. Today it's the phone ringing. Okay. With the backdrop in our lives of divide and conquer, um, of every man for himself, where all you're trying to do is just become a better human, and all everything seems to happen is that you just go against the flow all the time. This show, this episode, is about finding ways to heal in a world that doesn't seem to care, and everyone seems in love with themselves and their own perspective on life at the cost of your soul, and that's pretty much it. um, sometimes I'm sitting and I'm just blown away. I'm just sitting there realizing that it's just you're by yourself in this world. You are by yourself when it comes down to it. Um, Geronimo, the Apache in the 1800s, his father told him, "Your two legs are your only friends." Okay, so with that in mind, I had an appointment to go to the doctor. So I was cranking my way, I was cranking myself up on the way there, thinking positive, realizing the correlation between the food we eat and the health that we experience or not. Green smoothie helping the works, positive vibes, healing. And I get there, and within 30 seconds, I realized that the doctor is not the same doctor that I was used to seeing. Um, and honestly, from the beginning, he was soft, he was understanding, he was very easy to work with, he was patient, he was a model doctor, really. He wasn't against new ideas, very important. But now he's aggressive, he's loud, he's threatening. That's right. And it's like, I'm not going to say, I don't want this show to sound like I'm bashing anybody or anything, but this is what I'm experiencing, and this is what this show is about. It's about the truths about what's going on. So he got very upset, and he said that nothing else that I was going to attempt was going to work. And you know how somebody stands over your head, and they kind of, like you're sitting down and they're standing up, and they're kind of talking down at you like that on a 45. Um, it's like, you know, everything you're trying is going to fail. You're going to come back here with a backup, and you're going to be in the ER, and your kidneys are going to fail. And I just put my hand up, and everything stopped. He stopped, and I said, "There is a chance that." And he said, "Yeah, sorry, my bad choice of words." Okay. Um, and this is validation for me because I know big pharma. I know how they work. I have a pretty good idea of how the medical establishment. This is modern medicine, Luca. Right? I know how they work, So everybody's got to get paid, right? So I'm dealing with this negative wall. Um, Actually, it's the opposite. No, I take that back. The wall was protecting me from the negative. When I put my arm up, I felt the shield. This is something I've been working on for quite a long time. It's trying to shield myself from negative vibes or bad vibes from other people. Very, very hard to do, especially when you're very sensitive as I am. So um, I was able to do that. It was a wall. I was so into my healing and protective of what I was doing because I know it's working. I have a little bit of pain today, but that's because I was doing photography work yesterday and I was feeling muscles that I didn't even know existed. Um, so I'm getting back to health. So, okay. And something, an appointment like that would have devastated me. Even 2 years ago, devastated me. On the ride home, I want to talk to you about the ride home because it's twofold. One, um, the ride home from the appointment and damage control, and two is coming home, welcome home. I'm going to talk about riding home from the appointment first because I was laughing. I thought it was funny, and then that starts to turn into doubt, and then you have to clear the doubt out. You have to shoo it away. So it comes back with emotion. You're all by yourself. You're all on your own, and when you come to think of it, you are. But it's your choice or not to stay alone or to encourage yourself and encourage other people. And pretty soon you have people that are like you around you. And that's what you got to do. You got to take the negative people and just distance yourself from them. You got to take the drama and the toxic people and distance yourself from them. Um, so I was thinking all this on the way home, and it's like I noticed, I was patting myself on the back, literally saying, wow, this is cool. You're not as upset as you normally would have been. I would have been torn apart because the doctor said this. You know what? It was almost the other way around. It was so empowering because I know I'm getting to know my own body and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know what they're offering me, which is chemo and radiation for 13 weeks. And then they open up and they take out the prostate and the bladder, and then they form another bladder, or they can put a bag on your side, and then they send you home with a catheter. Does that sound like a plan to you? Not to me. The other half of the ride home was welcome home. It was it's a really beautiful story because um, the first time I was in an inipi ceremony, a sweat lodge ceremony that the Native Americans do, right when the door closed and it went pitch black, I heard my own voice inside saying, "Welcome home. What took you so long?" So for people that haven't done an inipi ceremony, sweat lodge ceremony, it's a cleansing. But that's on another show. We can talk about that. It depends on what the comments are. If they want me to stay away from the Native American stuff, I can't really do that because the Native American essence of the spirit is there. It's with me all the time, every day, every night. So um, we have to talk about that and we have to accept it. And that's what it is. It's the natural world that wants us to come back. It's the forest that wants to have us walk on their grounds barefoot again, earthing. The animals want us to talk to them again. We have forgotten that language. So when you take care of yourself, when you go natural, when you feel good, you don't have to go vegan or, everybody thinks it's one extent to the other. It doesn't work like that. It has to be a balance. So this show is about balance. Um, and it's very important for me to hear myself vocalizing, um, like, my emotions. Excuse me. I have to say them out loud and I have to hear myself say them. And that's what I was told to do. And it's a good exercise. But all these things are really, really important. Accepting and dealing with these emotions one by one, because when we're a healthy person, he or she can go into 1 out of 4 rooms every day. You go into 4 rooms, take a little time to go in one, you take a little time to go in another, and you do that 4 times. And you know what the 4 rooms are? The physical, the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional. And you spend a little time each day in each one, and that's part of balance, right? And when it comes to emotions, you get pretty heavy duty emotions like anger. Um, and for me, it's a tough one in some ways because I'm recognizing the negative anger when I come across it, and that usually comes from my dysfunctional family when I was, in my upbringing. Um, I get mad at myself, and what I do is I talk to myself the way my father talked to me, and I think some of us know where that's going and what that's all about. But you catch yourself, and like I dropped a plate on the ground one time, and I caught it with my leg so it didn't shatter. But I swore at myself, and right when I stopped, I realized who that was saying it. Saying it. It wasn't me. Um, if I wanted to leave this show with 3 really important things to tell you, it would be, first of all, trusting yourself. Trusting yourself that you know what's good for you and that you're doing the right thing, and that something that you feel that you should be doing, don't let anybody else try and dissuade you from it. Um, Trust yourself with how you feel and what you're doing and what you're saying and how you live, and be proud of it. And before you know it, you're cruising like I am. Um, Keep track of progress. This is something that this show is going to be doing during the time that I'm going to be doing it, as far as healing. And we'll be talking about cannabis off and on because this is what it's all about. And I thought it was important for this show to really, really stress those 3 things, because listening to yourself, trusting yourself, and keeping track of progress is really important. They say that it takes about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, to get into a habit or to break one. Um, so what I'm doing is I'm keeping track of everything. I had pictures of the blood in the toilet, and the blood clots, and I had pictures of my catheters when I had them. I was writing down notes about what I was feeling, what it was like. It was gruesome. It was horrible at times. And this is sometimes I might not even be able to do a show because there's going to be so many ups and downs all the time. And this is what it's all about. Yesterday I did a little bit too much, so I'm paying for it today. But it's important to do this show because this is a part of my healing. This is therapy for me, talking to everybody out there and hoping the best for everybody, and just being that little link that people can go to get some hope and get some good feelings and some good vibes, and to let you know that you're not alone. um, Learn to unlearn is an understatement. Learn to unlearn everything about vaccines, about chemo, about radiation, about big pharma, about Rockefeller medicine, about GMOs. It's all there. Chemtrails above. Oh yeah, that was a conspiracy 5 years ago, but now it's no. They're spraying us, and they're admitting it. Um, Trusting yourself is a good one for me because I trusted myself with all that, and I was like, check, 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 check. Everything's paying off, and everything's being validated. So, tip of the hat to everybody that's working hard, and please stay with us, and we'll see you next week on Learn to Unlearn. Thank you so much.